Rabotai, Parashat Noach. We have our Baal Koreh, and we're going to start. Rosh Chodesh Tov to everyone. Rosh Chodesh Tov, Baal Koreh. Ele toldot Noach. Noach, ish tzadik tamim, haya bedorotav. Et Elohim ithalech Noach.
These are the offspring of Noach. Noach was a righteous man, perfect in his generations. Noach walked with God.
Okay. Ele toldot Noach. Those are the offspring of Noah. What is the Torah tell us? Those are the offspring of Noah. Noah was a righteous man and a perfect man in his generation. So we have to understand what's happening in the verse. Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll try to compose and to move fast. The Ben Ish Hai, Rabbi Yosef Haim. Rabbi Yosef Haim born in the city of Baghdad in Iraq 191 years ago. And he explained that verse from that he say, Ele toldot Noah. And then he mentioned again Noah, twice the word Noah. It's come to tell you something very important. The Torah tells us that Noah was a righteous man in his generation, okay? That he was a righteous man, tzaddik, okay? And also the perfect man in his generation. Hazal explain what does it mean. So say the Rabbi Yosef Haim, the Ben Ish Hai, something very important. He said that if a person look at the water, he can see the reflection of his face. Said the Ben Ish Hai that the Torah here tell us something very important. That the way that we behave, that way that we act with other people, that's how people look at us. That means that people look at us the way that we reflect it, the way that we do deeds, good deeds to others, the way that we behave, the way that we talk. If Chas v'Shalom, a person behave badly, that's how his reflection to the world. He said that's what the Torah come to tell you, that in Noah time, he was speaking to everyone with very comfortable situation. Everyone felt comfortable to speak to him. Everyone felt comfortable around him. He felt very relaxed around them. And that's what the Torah come to tell you, that in the time of Noah, all of his generation was happy with Noah. Why? Because Noah was not only that Noah was comfortable to them, they felt also comfortable to be with him. Why? Because the way that he behaved. Said the Ben Ish Hai, if you take the word Noah, you write Noah Nun Het. He said, change the letters around. Het Nun, you're going to get the word Hen, favor. It means that Noah find favor in the eyes of every person. And that's what we say. V'Noach matza hen be'enei Elokim ve'adam. That means from that it said Noah. Noah find favor not in the eyes only of human being, also in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Noah with his own deeds, he find favor in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in the eyes of human being. He say, I've heard the beautiful commentary of the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, Rabbi Chaim ben Atar. He say that from that it say in a verse, V'Noach matza hen be'enei Elokim ve'adam, Noah found the merit, the remedy to find favor in the eyes of human being and the eyes of the Almighty. He said that's the Hidush why it's mentioned twice, Noah. That means that Noah, everyone felt comfortable with him in the heaven and in the earth. Human being and the Almighty. Then it says something very interesting. Noah was a righteous man. What it mean, a righteous man? Okay, and a perfect man in his generation. So a righteous man, said the Marana Bet Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Karo. Rabbi Yosef Karo, born in the city of Toledo, in Spain. He born around 536 years ago, plus minus, 537 plus minus. He explained like this. From that he said tzaddik, righteous, he said if you look at all the Torah, even Yosef, that was a righteous man, that we call him Yosef a tzaddik, the Torah doesn't call him tzaddik. Tzaddik, it means a person that never sinned with immorality. And Noah lived in a generation that was full of immorality. And then it said perfect. What it means perfect? That he never sinned with idol worshipping. It's come to tell you that Noah lived in such a difficult, two different generations, the generation of the flood and the generation of the Tower of Babel that worship idols. Although all of that, he never been influenced by the people in his generation. The opposite, he found favor in their eyes. That means that Noah managed to overcome those two challenges. Number one, of immorality, and number two, idol worshiping. But what does it mean in his generation? And many of the sages focus on that word, in his generation, bedorotav. What does it mean, bedorotav? So, Rabotai, Chazal tell us in a Gemara, in Masechet Sanhedrin, in page 108, folio 1, 108, folio 2, we speak about it, and 108, folio 1 and 2 speak about Noah. 109 speak already about the generation of the building of the building of the Babylon building, Migdal Bavel, the building of the Tower of Babel. And Rashi HaKadosh says something very interesting. Rashi HaKadosh says that there is some of our sages that when they speak about Noah, some of them praise him, and some of them speak about him derogatory. Okay? And what is it about? Many of the Mefarshim explain that why did they speak derogatory? Because he didn't pray for his own people in his generation. That means that Noah never dove into HaKadosh Baruch Hu to forgive or to try to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to forgive his generation. Pshat of the Dvarim. And the question becomes, Be'emet, Noah, why you didn't daven like Moshe Rabbeinu? We know that when the children of Israel sinned with the golden calf, Moshe Rabbeinu said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if you're going to wipe that nation, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to wipe the children of Israel, that they didn't create the golden calf. They joined the multi-nation with the golden calf. They joined the celebration. They celebrate with them. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to annihilate the children of Israel. Moshe Rabbeinu said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if you going to annihilate the children of Israel, rather erase me from your book. That means that Moshe Rabbeinu put his own life for the children of Israel. Ask the Zera Shimshon, Rabbi Shimshon Chaim Nachmani. Rabbi Shimshon Chaim Nachmani, born in a city of Modena. Modena is in north of Italy. And he asked a question. I don't understand. Noah, why you didn't want to daven for the people of your generation? Why is it that you didn't daven, you didn't pledge to the Almighty to forgive your generation? That's the question of the Zera Shimshon. It's a very valid question. So, to understand what Rashi HaKadosh asked, Rashi HaKadosh, just to explain, we explained that he born in Troyes 981 years ago in France, in the north of France. He says that some of our sages, judging Noah not so favorably, let's call it like this, I'm using very carefully. And the Mefarshim say, Noah, why really you didn't try to daven for your people of your generation? Why you didn't try to daven for them? So on a pshat of the Dvarim, I saw one answer according to the pshat. And they say like this, the reason that Noah didn't daven to his own generation because he didn't have the merit that Moshe Rabbeinu had. Moshe Rabbeinu had the merit of the forefather, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, that Abraham brought chesed to the world, Yitzhak gvura, okay? And Yaakov was the tiferet, you know? It's a different level. He got the merit of the forefathers. But Noah, that was before the forefather, couldn't daven for them. Why? Because he didn't have the ability, he didn't have the merit to daven for them. That's the pshat of the Dvarim. Say the Mefarshim. When I say the Mefarshim, it's the Zera Shimshon. Another idea. He say, if you look at the generation of the flood, the generation of the flood didn't have to work. Everything was growing for them. Their prosperity was all over. And what's happened? They were so bold that they start to behave with immorality. Say, the Zera Shimshon, how can you daven for people that HaKadosh Baruch Hu influenced them and brought them a lot of prosperity, and they have everything, and the lack of nothing, and they're sinning? Say, no, I don't see any sense to daven for those people. HaKadosh Baruch Hu give you everything, and you go against them? It doesn't make sense. Another interpretation. We know that Hazal tell us in verse 11, and the Torah tells us, "Vatimalea haaretz Hamas." Rashi HaKadosh explained what it means Hamas, Gezer. Said the Zera Shimshon, if you look what his generation sin is Ben Adam lehavero, robbery. Gezer is robbery. He say, what's the use of me davening for my own people, for my own generation, if they continue stealing? I can daven for them, but it's not going to change the situation. A person, if he steals, there is one atonement, to return back what he steals. Say, Noah, what's the use of me davening for them if they continue to stealing? If they continue to stealing, that means that there's nothing to help them, and there's nothing to daven for them. As long that they didn't realize that they have to stop robbing one each other and to return the robbery back. He said, what's the use of stealing? Said the Zera Shimshon, now you can understand why Noah didn't want to daven to the people in his own generation. He said that was the problem. Not that Noah didn't care, Chas v'Shalom, about it. Noah cared about it. But Noah realized that it's not going to help to daven for them if they're still robbing one each other. He said, as long as they're robbing one each other, I can't do nothing, because that's Ben Adam lahavero, between a man and his fellow friend. He said, in that case, I can daven from here until tomorrow, nothing gonna help. And that's what the Zera Shimshon say, the reason why Noah never daven, tried to pledge to the Almighty, to plead for forgiveness for the generation of the flood, for his own generation. Let's go to verse 10. And here the Torah tells us something very interesting. ויולד נוח 3 בנים, את שם, את חם ואת יפת.
Noah had begotten 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Here the Torah tells us that Noah have 3 sons. Rabotai, we have to understand that Noah, in the age of 500, that's when he started to have kids. Until the age of 500, Noah never had kids. Where do we learn that? If you look at chapter 5 in Parashat Bereshit, last Parsha, in verse 32, it says, ויהי נוח בן 500 שנה, ויולד נוח את שם, את חם ואת יפת. The Torah tells us in Sefer Bereshit, chapter 5, verse 32, when Noah was in the age of 500, that's when he started to have the kids. Ask the Mefarshim why Noah didn't have kids in the early age. Why did Noah have to wait for the age of 500? That's the question of the Mefarshim. So I'm going to bring 2 different opinions that brought in Midrash Bereshit Rabbah in chapter 26, verse 2. And there Hazal explain what happened. So Hazal and the Midrash explain and bring in 2 ideas. The one idea is that the Almighty actually stopped, prevent from Noah to get married. By the way, who did Noah marry? Naamah, the daughter of Lemech. Okay. Naamah was older than Noah by 82 years. No, sorry, 89 years. 89 years. She was older than him, almost 100 years. And in the age of 500, HaKadosh Baruch Hu now allowing Noah to get married. Until now, he stopped Noah from getting married. He said like this, you know why? That if Noah would get married earlier, Noah lived for 600, over 600 years. He will have grandchildren, great-grandchildren. If he would married earlier, you have a lot of children and a lot of grandchildren. Say the Midrash, HaKadosh Baruch Hu say, wow, in that case, Noah will have to build so many arks, not only for himself, also for his kids, for his grandchildren, for his grandchildren, and etc. He said HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't want to bother Noah to build so many arks. Another interpretation, he said like this, if God forbid Noah would get married earlier, his descendants, he have a lot of kids, a lot of grandchildren, grandchildren. Inevitably, some of them will be influenced by the generation. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will have to wipe them off with a flood. That will cause pain and agony to Noah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't want to cause it to Noah. That's why Noah got married in the age of 500. But here becomes the question. Noah, when did he enter the Teva? In the age of 600, we say. So you have 100 years period from the time that he got married until he entered the Teva. And let's say that when he married Ne'amah, Ne'amah fall pregnant, so you have a kid at least in the age of 100, 98, 95. They're not young. He said, why? He wasn't worried, Kadosh Baruch Hu, that they're going to get punished. 100 years, it's a long period of time. In our life, a person that is 100 have children, have grandchildren, have grandchildren, at least. He said, and I saw a beautiful answer that brought the Mefarshim. And the Mefarshim bring the prophet Yeshaya, that he said that today we know that when a person till the age of 20 is obligated to the punishment of death, mitabi de shamayim, the punishment from heaven if he sinned. He says that in that time, a person, if he reached to the age of 100, until the age of 100, is not obligated to mitabi de shamayim, punishment from heaven. When is he obligated? Only after the age of 100. Said the Mefarshim that when the Mashiach come, the punishment of midah b'dei shamayim going to be again after the age of 100. They said that's the Hidush. Why Noach never got married in the earlier stage of his life? And now we can understand the concept. Let's go to verse 14. And here we see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu telling Noah, okay, to build the ark, the teva. Look what it says. עשה לך תיבת עצי גופר, קנים, תעשה את התיבה. וכפרת אותה מבית ומחוץ בכופר.
Make for yourself an ark of gopher wood. The ark with compartments and cover it inside and out with pitch, tar, with pitch.
Okay. So here HaKadosh Baruch Hu tell Noah to build the ark. I saw a very interesting question that's been asked by Rabbi Moshe Heskel Tzalach. Rabbi Moshe Heskel Tzalach, he born around 127 years ago in Iraq, Baghdad. He asked a question. He said, I don't understand, why is the Torah saying that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Noah to build the ark? Why he didn't mention the name, a boat, a ship? Why dafka a teva? A teva, in English, you call it an ark. But a matter of fact, in Hebrew, a teva mean like a box. Ask Rabbi Moshe Heskel Salah, why you call it teva? Why you don't call it a ship? Why you don't call it a boat? Whatever. That's the question. It's a very, very cool, valid question. I saw the answer that he brings. It was amazing. He said that you have to understand that the teva, the ark, wasn't in the shape of a boat at all. It was looking like a box. It was covered from the top and from the side. It didn't look like. It looked exactly like a box. And that's why they call it teva. What's the idea of the word of the teva? Listen to that. Hazal explain, if you take the word teva, take the letters of that word, there is be, taf, okay? Then there is bet, then there is yud, and there is hey. He said, change the letters around, you get to Bet Hashem, the house of the Almighty. He come to tell you that Noah was commanded to build the Teva, that's the house of Hashem, if we want to survive the flood. A deeper interpretation that I saw, that the Mefarshim explain, if you look at the Teva, it doesn't have windows like a ship or like a boat. It had one, Tzohar Ta'aseh LaTeva. What it means, Tzohar? There's different idea. Some people say, put a special stone. I saw what the Mefarshim say, and that's according to the mystical rabbi. And the mystical rabbi, the Kabbalistic rabbi, explained like this, that if was a window on a teva, if it would look like a ship or like a boat, people can see inside the boat or the teva. He said, but the world is annihilated. Who's going to look? He said, you have to understand that in the time of the flood, for that time, for a full year, the character trait of judgment was in the world. And if Has v'Shalom, they will see that these people in the boat or in a ship, the Yetzer Hara can criticize against them. Say the Mekubalim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Noach to build it like a box, like an ark, that there is no window, there is nothing that people can see inside. So how did they know when it's day and when it's night? You couldn't see, because it was all the time flooding for 40 days and 40 nights. Said the Mefarshim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu tell him, Ta'aseh Tzohar LaTeva. What it means, Tzohar? Make a place and put a stone, a special stone, a precious stone, a big precious stone, and that precious stone will give you enough light for all the 3 compartments in an ark. So now we can understand what it's called Teva, and it doesn't call a boat and a ship, because Teva mean, if you change the letters around, Bet Hashem, the house of the Almighty, to protect them. Let's go to chapter 7, verse 7. Yeah, we're on time. Today we're on time. I'm trying to accelerate and to bring more commentary. And look what it says. ויבוא נוח ובניו ואשתו ונשי בניו איתו אל התיבה מפני המבול.
Noah, with his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives with him, went into the ark because of the waters of the flood.
Jeffrey, you are muted. I couldn't hear you. That we lost you. You want to repeat, Jeffrey? We couldn't hear you. Please repeat. Jeffrey, can you hear me? I can't hear you, Jeffrey.
Rav, you are muted. You are blocked. You are blocked.
Am I muted? I'm not. I can't see being muted. Am I muted?
Oh, not muted. No, it was blocked. I couldn't hear you talking.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Please repeat this, chapter 7, verse 7.
Yes, of course. Sorry. Noah, with his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives with him, went into the ark because of the waters of the flood.
Okay. The Torah tells us that Noah, his wife, his sons, and the daughter-in-law gone into the Teva, to the ark. Why? Because the flood. Rashi HaKadosh, listen what Rashi HaKadosh says. Mipnei mei mabul, because the water of the flood, he right? Af Noach miktanei המנה מאמין ואינו מאמין שיבוא מבול, ולא נכנס לתיבה עד שדחקו המים. I will translate. Rashi HaKadosh say, that Noah wasn't a great believer. What does it mean? Noah believed that the flood will come, and from the other way, didn't believe that the flood will come. That means that he have a doubt. What forced him to go into the Teva is when the level of the water starts rising. Rabotai, we have to understand what is Rashi trying to tell us. Many of the Mefarshim ask, how can you say,
Yeah.
Rashi, how can you say such thing about Noah? It doesn't make sense. Noah didn't believe. The Torah tells us at the beginning, Noah ish tzaddik tamim haya bedorotav. He was a righteous man and a perfect man in his generation. So how can you tell me, Rashi, that he believed and he didn't believe? And what forced him to go to the ark, it was the flood. I saw a beautiful answer, beautiful interpretation from Mari Mivorka. Who's the Mari Mivorka? Mari Mivorka, it's Rabbi Yitzhak Israel Kalish. He born 256 years ago, plus minus, in Poland. And he said like this, it's God forbid to think that Noah didn't believe in the Almighty. The Torah tells us that he was a righteous man, so there's nothing to debate. He said, let me explain to you what Rashi said. He said, Noah, until the last minute before he entered the Teva, he believed that the people of his generation will do tshuva, will do atonement. That means that every second he believed that the flood will come, but he also believed that the people of his generation will do tshuva. So he believed that the flood will come, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu will say. But in himself, he also believed that, and he prayed that the flood not going to come. You know why? Because he wanted his generation to do tshuva. Said the Marim in Bavorka, Rabbi Yitzhak Israel Kalish, like this. He said, from here you can understand what Rashi said. Ma'amin ve'eno ma'amin. He believed, for sure he believed, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu said. But he didn't want to believe because if his generation will do tshuva, then there is no flood. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will never punish them. Why? Because they done tshuva. He said that Noah wanted his generation to do tshuva, so the flood not going to come. But unfortunately, his generation never done tshuva. So he waited for the last second because he hoped that they're going to do tshuva and they're not going to be annihilated and wiped off by the flood. That's why he waited, that they will see that the flood's coming, like he told them. And maybe that's going to change their mind, and then they will do tshuva. But when he saw that if he not going to enter the Teva, he also going to die. That's why he entered into the Teva. Rabotai, I would like to ask a question that I saw in a Zera Shimshon, Rabbi Shimshon Haim Nachmani. And I need to bring some history, and then I will explain. The Torah tells us that, the Torah doesn't tell us the year, but we learn it from the psukim in the Torah, that in the year 1656 from the creation, on the 17th of the month of Heshvan, okay, the flood start coming. And the Gemara in Masechet Zvahim, if you want to check it up, in 113, folio 2, tell us that the flood was all over the world except in Eretz Israel. Okay. Noah married to Ne'amah. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu told them, you and your wife and your son and your daughter-in-law and all the animals that are allowed to enter the Teva, going to be in a teva for a full year. The Midrash Tanhuma, listen to that. In chapter 9, explain that Noah and his family didn't see for a year, they couldn't sleep properly. They didn't see Shana B'aneim. Why? Chazal explained, because they were so busy with the animal. There's certain animal that you feed during the day. There's certain animal that you feed at night. Then you have to prepare for them the food. Then you have to clean the ark. Said the Mefarshim, for a full year, Noah and his own people that was with him in the teva suffered for a full year. Say Rabbi Shimshon Chaim Nachmani, I don't understand. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you wanted to save Noah, his wife and his kids and his daughter-in-law and all the animals. Why you didn't take them to Eretz Israel like the Gemara say in Masechet Zvahim, page 113, folio 2? There was no flood. The flood wasn't in Eretz Israel. Take them to Eretz Israel and then you save them. Why did you have to put Noah and his family in a teva and they have to suffer for 12 months? That's the question of the Zera Shimshon. Say the Zera Shimshon like this. He bring in the Rambam. The Rambam that I'm talking about is Rabbi Moshe ben Madmuna. Okay, he born in Cordova, in the city of Cordova, 819 years ago. Cordova is in Spain. And he writes like this, in Elchot De'ot, Perek Vav, Halacha Aleph. He said like this, he said that if a person living in a city of wicked people, or in a country that there is wicked people, in a suburb that there is wicked people, he must leave the country, he must move a country. He must leave the city and move to another city. He must leave the suburb, the area that he lived, and he moved to a suburb that there is no wicked people. He said Noah never done it. Noah, all of his life, lived a comfortable life with wicked people, against the halacha. Why did Noah live with them? And why it was comfortable? Because when there is people, there is trade. He can trade, he can buy food, he can sell, and etc. Said the Zera Shimshon to do atonement to that he didn't leave the area or the world and gone to isolated place with his family to run away from wicked people. HaKadosh Baruch Hu decide how is he going to do atonement to Noah and his family? By that they have to be in a teva, in an ark for a year, and they're going to work their guts out, and they're not going to sleep at night, and that's going to do atonement. That's agony and pain that they're going to experience, going to do atonement to the pleasure that he lived for all of those years before that. The Torah, the Mefarshim explained that 120 years. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told 120 years before it brought the flood to tell Noah to build a teva. So Noah built a teva. He didn't build a big ship or big cruise ship. No, Noah built the ark. But because he lived amongst wicked people and he benefit from it, he need to do atonement. And that's the reason. Let's go to chapter 9. Yes, we're on time. Baruch Hashem. Today we're on time. Chapter 9, verse 13. Chapter 9, verse 13 speak about the promise that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm just trying to find it. Ken, you know, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu given us that when we see the rainbow in the heaven, It's to tell us that that was the covenant that HaKadosh Baruch Hu given us, the oath that he will never bring flood to the world. Let's read it and then let's try to explain. את קשתי נתתי בענן והייתה לאות ברית ביני ובין בני הארץ.
I have set my rainbow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth.
Okay. First of all, let's explain what is a rainbow. What we know a rainbow, we call it its occurrence of the sun appearing through the rain. When when it's raining and suddenly you see the sun, it's create like a beautiful color of a rainbow. That's basically it. On a pshat of the dvarim, that the ray, okay, of the light create like a beautiful color of the rainbow. We done a show about the rainbow. We explained the color. There's no time for that now. But the Ramban, Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon, okay, the Madmonan, he born in the city of Catalonia. First of all, he born 831 years ago. Catalonia is also in Spain. And he asked a question. Why, when we see the rainbow in the heaven, why we see a half circle? Why we don't see a full circle? A keshet, we have to understand, keshet in Hebrew called a bow. He say, if you look at that keshet, the rainbow, it looks like a bow, but the bow facing the heaven. Why? He said that there is here HaKadosh Baruch Hu tell us something very important. HaKadosh Baruch Hu say that if you see the rainbow in the heaven, that means that the world deserves that I should bring flood again to the world. I should flood the world again. But because my covenant, I'm not going to do that. Said the Ramban, something extraordinary. He say, if you look how the keshet look, how the bow look, that it's facing the heaven. That if you put the arrow and you shoot it, it's going to shoot straight up to the heaven, not to the earth. He said that here there is a message to all humanity. That the Almighty, the Creator, Kadosh Baruch Hu say, I'd rather take the arrow and not harm my creation. He said that's why when you look at the rainbow, it's a half circle, but facing the heaven. And towards the earth, you don't see nothing. Rabotai, I would like to speak also about the Tower of Babel. Let's go to chapter 11, verse 4. Chapter 11, verse 4, and look what it says. ויאמרו, הבה נבנה לנו עיר ומגדל, וראשו בשמיים, ונעשה לנו שם, כן, ונפות על פני כל הארץ.
And they said, come, let us build us a city and a tower with its top in the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be dispersed across the whole earth.
ונעשה לנו שם, כן, נעשה לנו שם, כן. What is the Tower of Babel? Okay, there is Sefer HaDorot. Sefer HaDorot been written, it's a book that been written by Rabbeinu Yehiel. Okay, his son, Rabbeinu Shlomo Halperin, he born around 335 years ago. And he wrote in his book, Sefer HaDorot, that something very interesting, that Nimrod HaRasha, Nimrod. Who was Nimrod? We'll see it later on. We'll hear his name in the name of Amraphel. Okay? Why they call him Amraphel if they call him Nimrod? Said the Mefarshim, Amrafel she'amar le'Avraham Paul, that he throw Abraham to the furnace. Remember that Abraham Avinu said that there is one God, and Nimrod wanted to believe that people are going to believe that he's God. What was the highest of the Tower of Babel? What was the height? So in Sefer Adorot it said 27 miles. What is 27 miles, Rabotai? A mile is 926 meters, plus minus. Multiply 926 by 27, it's an average of 25-kilometer building. Look at the technology that they have, Rabotai. It's beyond understanding. When did they build the Tower of Babel? In the year 1788 from the creation. Look what wisdom they have, what chokhmah. Today, the highest building that there is in the world is the Burj of Dubai. That's it. There's no higher. In Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer, they explain that, as a matter of fact, they're contradicting what it say in Sefer Adorot. They say that the highest was 7 miles. Okay, if you look at it, it's almost 6.5 kilometers height. I'll say something very extraordinary. That the building material that they build the building, they never use stone, they never use rocks. They made their own thing by themselves. That means the bricks. That's how it's explained in chapter 11, verse 3. If you look at it, look what it says. Hava נלבנה לבנים ונשרפה לשורפה, ותהי להם הלבנה לאבן, והחומר היה להם, והחמר היה להם לחומר. If you look at that verse, said the Mefarshim, that they appreciate more the material than human beings. Because they have so much workforce, free workforce, that the life of a human being means nothing. That when one brick would fall down from the top while they're walking, they can sit Shiva. But if a person does, Mishgafela. Another interpretation that said the Mefarshim, that they didn't want to use rocks or stone, that because they wanted to say that they built a tower from A to Z. They created the bricks. Why did they build the tower? On a pshat of the dvarim. One of the ideas that they build a tower so they can find the Almighty on a pshat of the dvarim, and they can worship idols. But the Mefarshim explain another idea. They say that from time to time, HaKadosh Baruch Hu bringing flood to the world. And if he's going to bring next time that the people are going to sin, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bring flood to the world, and it's going to make, they hear the thundering, the lightning, and the world shake. They say we're going to build a support to the world that the Almighty cannot bring again flood to the world. Another idea that brought in the Mefarshim, that they wanted to take over. Say the Mefarshim, that generation was so smart that if they can go 25 kilometers up to the heaven, they must be very smart. Say the Mefarshim like this, that they knew the name of every angel in the world. Every angel have a specific job that he's in charge. And they say that we know the name of those angels, and we're going to force them to do what we're telling them, then we can take control from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Has v'Shalom. What did HaKadosh Baruch Hu done? HaKadosh Baruch Hu changed the job of every angel. Every job, there is a specific angel that's in charge. For example, Amalach Raphael, the angel Raphael, in charge about refuah. Milshon, Raphael, Milshon refuah. Change its job for a certain time. And on and on and on. So when they tried to use those angels, they couldn't. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu changed the language. And that's what it says, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, balal sefatam, that he changed the language. And Hazal say in a Gemara, in Sanhedrin, like I mentioned earlier, 109, folio 1. Hazal explained, what did HaKadosh Baruch Hu punish those people? How did he punish the generation of the Tower of Babel? So said the Zera Shimshon that he punished them midah keneged midah. What does it mean midah keneged midah? Measure for measure. He dropped the level of that generation that was very scholar people, he dropped their level. He said that they was not only just normal human being, they was very smart human being. Now he brought them down. Hazal explained that he turned some of them, he turned them to elephant, some of them he turned them to monkeys, and some of them he turned to evil spirit. He dropped them from a level of a human being to a different level. And that's, Rabotai, can answer the question, why Hazal tell us, halacha, if you see an elephant or you see a monkey, okay, you have to say, Baruch Ata Hashem Meshaneh HaBriot. Baruch Ata Hashem, Kenu Melech HaOlam, Meshaneh HaBriot. Why? Because at the beginning, there was a human being. Then he dropped them. And he changed them completely. The scientists find today that the chimpanzee, those the animal that HaKadosh Baruch Hu turned them from a human being to monkeys. The Mefarshim explain that the chimpanzee compared to a human being, the genetic line, the difference 3%. The chimpanzees can understand almost like a human being. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought them down. Why? Because they wanted to take over. HaKadosh Baruch Hu punished them. How's that affecting with the elephant? HaKadosh Baruch Hu took his nose and stretched it. Took his ears and he stretched it. And he made him big to look different. Why? Because they wanted to do different thing in the world. Evil spirit that no one can see them. He said that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Torah tell us, in the Gemara, in Masechet Sanhedrin, 109, folio 1, that's why he turned them to different people. We explained that Nimrod, he was the leader, the spiritual leader of the people in the time of Tower of Babel to rebel against HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay? What's happened? It's come to teach us something very important, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu given each one of us, and that's the message, the ability to choose to do good, or Has v'Shalom, to do the other thing. He said that if you look at Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, the forefathers, they took that tools that they got, the freedom of choice, and instead, what they done with that? They build the world. They are the pillar of the world. They like the foundation. Abraham brought chesed to the world, kindness. Yitzhak Avinu brought gvura, the strength to worship HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yaakov Avinu Ishtam Yoshev Ohalim, that's above everyone, above all the forefathers. That's to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu with a simple heart, with no thinking left or right, not thinking for benefit, to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu with full heart. He said, but the generation of the Tower of Babel, they wanted to do exactly the opposite, to fight the Almighty, instead of to be a pillar of foundation. What did HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Punish them measure for measure. And he brought them down from the level to a lower level, from a human being level to much lower level. And Be'ezrat Hashem, Rabotai, I stole 3 minutes of the show. I'm trying to stick to time, to push. There's few more ideas. Be'ezrat Hashem, I'll speak about it in a show on Shabbat. But what is the message here? And that's what we have to take with us. The message to take with us, that we should look at time, we should look at life to try to uplift us spiritually, instead of following our desire. That's what brought to the flood, lo alenu. That's what brought down the generation of the Tower of Babel. The message here is to look at the freedom of choice that HaKadosh Baruch Hu given us and to uplift ourselves. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that we should merit to uplift ourselves, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send us Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our day.